So I'm very, very, very excited. I don't know about you, but I like the thought of becoming my own Chief Effervescent Officer. I like the sound of that. We already have a Chief Effervescent Officer within the AFPP, but I like the sound of becoming one, and we're going to learn how. So I'm going to welcome Celynn Morin to the stage. Come on ahead. You're looking very beautiful. Celynn, thank you so much for coming to speak to us this afternoon. Celynn is a registered dietitian. She's an award-winning speaker and author of 2 books and a workplace well-being consultant. She has a practical and playful approach to holistic well-being. Celynn does this by helping work individuals connect with their mind, heart, body and spirit in a way that supports their well-being. Now, there is more, but she can tell you that herself. I'm very excited that there's champagne on the stage. Not quite sure what's going to happen with that. But Celynn, thank you so much for coming, and the stage is now yours. Thank you. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So what does santé mean? Yeah, it's French for health. So you can have good health, bonne santé, or poor health, mauvaise santé. And the other meaning of santé? Cheers. Yeah. So, when we say cheers, santé, we are inviting the request, an invitation, a blessing for good health, bonne santé, to ourselves and to whoever we are connecting with. And why is that so important? Because when we ask for good health, for many reasons, it gives us opportunity. So this is a wonderful Chinese proverb. A healthy person has 1,000 wishes. A sick person has just one. And I know that this is an audience that understands that meaning very well. And just like in this glass of sparkling drink, there are maybe 1,000 bubbles. Apparently, there are 250 million bubbles in a bottle of champagne. Did you know that? When we have these options, we can do a lot, right? Now, why am I standing with a glass of sparkling wine, and why is there a bottle of champagne on the stage, and we're talking about well-being? When you see people, a family, a couple, enjoying a glass of sparkling anything, it can be champagne, cava, English sparkling wine, Prosecco, what do you assume? They're celebrating. That's the first thing. So we become curious about why are they connecting over a sparkling drink. Is it a birthday? Is it maybe an anniversary, a milestone, a graduation? And those 3 things, curiosity, the fact that we're connecting, and celebration are really important ingredients for well-being. So if we think about curiosity helps our mind. So when it comes to well-being, you know, if it was all easy and simple, we would all be healthier and happier and fitter. It isn't as simple. In fact, a lot of the knowledge and things that I'm going to share with you, we know. However, common knowledge isn't always common practice. So we're also going to chat about how do we actually make some changes if you would like to potentially improve your mindset, your mental health, your emotional well-being, and perhaps how you feel in terms of energy and effervescence. So curiosity is key, because if you stay curious, you can help keep a growth mindset and have endless possibilities no matter what's happening around, specifically with your well-being. Then connection is important. So when we connect with others, and specifically if we connect with ourselves, we're able to show up more authentically, and that helps with emotional intelligence and enhancing the quality of our relationships. Also, connection can help us to better manage stress, especially if we connect with our emotions and not suppress them, because what we suppress, the body ends up expressing, and sometimes in very unhealthy ways. And then that third ingredient, when you see somebody or a group of people sharing a sparkling drink, the celebration piece, is about how we choose to show up. Because celebration requires a sense of energy and action that shows that maybe you're joyful or happy, or at least feeling a sense of gratitude. And these are the three things that we're going to weave through our time together, is how can we, and perhaps you could ask yourself, how can I be curious about how this conversation could help my well-being? How could I potentially connect with myself? And if you would like to, because it's all a choice, how could you bring in a little bit more celebration? And celebration is important for many reasons. I'm just going to share with you two. The one thing we know from neuroscience is if we want to create new behaviors around our lifestyle, around our health and well-being, it helps to feel good about them so that we stick to doing them, because we change most when we feel good as opposed to feeling bad. And most of the time when it comes to this well-being stuff, we don't really have fun. We don't feel like we're celebrating it. It's all about deprivation and denial. And so we end up setting ourselves up for failure as opposed to success. And when I say celebration, I do not mean that you have to have a bottle of bubbly. In fact, it's really important to find moments that you can celebrate. For me, I call them champagne moments, where it's the simple things that happen day to day. So rather than waiting for a big milestone event to open a bottle of bubbly, is to find moments in your day, perhaps as simple as this one. A few days ago, I was walking on my local beach, which is the Witterings. I live in Chichester. And I wasn't particularly happy. I had just come back from Inverness after being to a funeral, which is always quite sad when someone transitions. However, there was a moment where the clouds parted and this ray of sunshine came and hit my face. And I took a deep breath in, and I was just like, in this moment, I feel joyful. And that's for me the difference between happiness and joy. Because happiness is how we feel when things go our way, right? When maybe our kids are healthy and well, work isn't maybe too stressful, we've got some extra cash, we may be going on holiday. So it's all about the external world and hooray when things work out. But it's often out of our control. Things like the weather, for instance. Whereas joy is a state, it's an internal quality, an internal way of being that we bring to the world regardless of what's happening around us. And so when I speak about celebration, it's more about how can you not compromise on your inner joy as you go about work and life, considering that there's so much out of our control. From what happens inside surgery rooms, right outside, to the weather on a weekend, just when you have the time off. And is this easy? No, it's not. But if we create small changes, a bit like inside this glass, there are lots of bubbles that are rising up to the surface. There's not one big bubble that makes a bottle or a glass of anything sparkling. It's those thousands, hundreds, thousands, millions, apparently, bubbles that come up and arise and are effervescent to the surface, that make a drink effervescent and sparkling. And so it's the small little things that you choose to do every day that will add up to the sense of effervescence, not all the time, but most of the time. How can you keep this inner sense of effervescence and joy regardless of what's happening around you? Shawn Achor is a professor. Some of you, I don't know if you've come across his book, Happiness Advantage. I see some nods over there. His most recent research highlights 4 things that can help us maintain a sense of joy. One of the things is something that I'd like to invite us to do right now. It's like a little bubble of time. When people take 2 minutes out of their day to focus on their breathing and go inward for a mindful 120 seconds, when they come back to their work, they are not only more accurate, they also have a sense of being happier, but they also impact the cortisol levels of people around them. That's really exciting. So when you choose to feel a little bit more joyful, you potentially can help your colleagues around you have less cortisol. So how about we do that? I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes, and I invite you to, as you are right now, bring your awareness to your body that supports it on the chair. If you would like to, you can soften your gaze so that you don't keep getting this visual stimulation, and if you feel comfortable to do so, you can even close your eyes. And bring your awareness to your chest where your heart is beating. And notice your inhale, perhaps your chest lifts and expands. And as you exhale, your chest might drop. And on your next in-breath, What would it be like if you took in a little bit more oxygen, so breathed a little bit deeper, maybe allowing your belly to feel like it was filling with air? And as you exhaled, to lengthen your exhale, as you exhale through your mouth. So inhale through your nose, a little bit deeper than usual, and exhale through your mouth. And on your next exhale, allow your shoulders to drop a little bit more towards the ground. Let your neck, your jaw, your forehead, your face relax. We carry so much tension in the upper body. And as you take a few more deep, nourishing breaths, I invite you to think of someone or a pet or a place that makes you happy, that brings you joy, that makes you feel grateful or maybe even love. So hold that person or that place or that pet in your mind, perhaps even placing them where your heart is, so you can feel the feeling of joy, gratitude, love in your heart, in your chest. And take 2 more slow, deep breaths. Make these the deepest, most nourishing breaths you've taken all day, perhaps all conference. And let the corners of your mouth slightly lift, perhaps even bringing a full smile to your face. And if your eyes are closed, to gently open them and let the light back in. And notice how that feels. 2 minutes of mindful contemplation, connecting with yourself. Right now, not only are your cortisol levels coming down, but so too are those around you. And mine, which is helpful because I have quite a lot of adrenaline in me being up here speaking. So a little mindful minute that can help us to cultivate joy. So why have I got Champagne up here? Why do I speak about this? I have a South African accent because my parents left Champagne. So my whole family are from the Champagne region in France. They got married, they left, they went to South Africa on honeymoon and ended up staying there for 52 years, during which time I was born. They are now back in Champagne, which is great because I get to bring 12 bottles of champagne back with me every time I visit them. That's the allowance. And I was brought up between South Africa and France. Here's a photograph of my very first visit